Let's get started. Number 6. Capgras Delusion. Imagine looking at your mom's face, recognizing every wrinkle, every mole, every single detail, and still being 100% convinced she's an imposter. Not confused, not squinting, just certain times that a body double has replaced your actual mother, like she's part of some elaborate spy thriller nobody told you about. This is Capgras Delusion, and it happens when the part of your brain that recognizes faces gets completely disconnected from the part that handles emotional familiarity. So visually, your brain goes, yep, that's mom, but emotionally it goes, nope, feels like a stranger wearing her skin. And since your brain trusts feelings way more than logic, it doesn't correct the visual data, it just rewrites reality to match the emotional glitch. People with this condition have accused spouses, children, even pets of being replaced by lookalikes, sometimes leading to real tragedy because the fake version of a loved one gets treated like an actual threat. It's basically your brain choosing conspiracy theory over common sense and running with it at full volume. Somewhere, a neuroscientist is taking notes, and somewhere else, someone's very real mother is very confused why her own kid keeps backing away from her. Number 5. Fregoli Delusion. Picture walking through a grocery store convinced that the cashier, the mailman, and your neighbor are all secretly the same person, just wearing different disguises to stalk you. That's Fregoli Delusion, named after an Italian actor famous for quick costume changes, because that's basically what the brain thinks is happening to everyone around it. People with this condition believe a single individual, often someone they fear, is shapeshifting into different bodies to follow and monitor them. It's paranoia with a costume department. The theory is that this happens when facial recognition and threat detection systems get tangled together, so instead of just seeing a new face, the brain slaps a "this is actually my enemy in disguise" label on total strangers. Combine that with a hefty dose of paranoia, and you get someone who genuinely believes their barista, their boss, and the guy walking his dog are all the same secret agent assigned to ruin their life. It sounds like a bad spy movie plot, except there's no twist ending, and no one's getting paid for this performance. Your brain, desperate to make sense of a threat it can't quite locate, just starts recycling the same villain over and over, like a low-budget show that can only afford one guest actor. Number 4. Reduplicative Paramnesia. This is when someone becomes convinced a familiar place has been duplicated, like their hospital room is definitely a replica built somewhere else, or their house has been secretly relocated overnight. They'll recognize every detail correctly, same furniture, same photos, same creaky door, and still insist, this isn't really my house, it just looks like it. It's essentially Capgras Delusion's location-based cousin, where the visual recognition system works perfectly but the emotional sense of, I belong here, completely disconnects. So, the brain, once again choosing feelings over facts, decides the simplest explanation is that reality itself got swapped out overnight, rather than admitting its own wiring is glitching. Patients have given detailed, oddly logical explanations for how their house was moved, complete with reasons and timelines, all while standing in the exact same house they've lived in for years. It's less like memory loss and more like your brain writing conspiracy fanfiction about your own furniture. Somewhere, someone is calmly explaining to a doctor that their childhood bedroom was airlifted 40 miles east, and honestly, the commitment to the bit is almost admirable. Number 3. Schizophrenia. Few psychiatric conditions are as misunderstood as schizophrenia. People often imagine it simply means having multiple personalities, which is incorrect. Schizophrenia is a serious mental disorder that can affect perception, thinking, emotion, behavior, and a person's ability to interpret reality. One of its most frightening features can be psychosis. A person may hear voices that seem completely real, develop powerful beliefs that aren't supported by reality, or experience the world in ways that other people cannot perceive. Imagine hearing someone whisper your name when you're completely alone. You check the room, nothing. Then it happens again, and again. Eventually, the question isn't simply, did I hear something? It's, why is this happening, and what does it mean? The brain is a prediction machine. It constantly interprets incomplete information and tries to determine what's happening around you. When those systems become severely disrupted, internally generated thoughts or perceptions can sometimes be experienced as external events. And here's where things become especially difficult. From the outside, someone might say, that's impossible. From the inside, the experience may feel completely undeniable. That's why simply telling someone to snap out of it is about as useful as telling a fire alarm to calm down. Schizophrenia isn't a spooky personality quirk. It's a serious illness that can profoundly disrupt someone's entire experience of reality. The terrifying part isn't that the brain stops working. It's that the brain keeps working while sometimes giving you information you can't safely trust. Number 2. Apotemnophilia. This one's deeply uncomfortable, so brace yourself. It's a condition where someone feels an overwhelming, lifelong desire to have a perfectly healthy limb amputated, because their brain has never accepted that limb as truly theirs. It's not about self-harm or attention, it's called body integrity dysphoria, and it stems from a mismatch between the physical body and the brain's internal body map, that invisible blueprint your mind uses to know where you end. For most people, that blueprint matches reality perfectly. For people with this condition, the blueprint is missing a limb entirely, so the real, functioning arm or leg feels foreign, excessive, wrong, like carrying around a stranger's spare part bolted onto your body. Some describe it as a constant, nagging sense of, this shouldn't be here, similar to how you'd feel about an extra thumb grafted onto your hand. It's not logical, it's not about looks, and reasoning doesn't fix it, because the mismatch isn't happening in the rational part of the brain, it's happening in the deep, primal system responsible for basic body ownership. Imagine your own mind refusing to file the paperwork on a limb you've had since birth. That's not a preference. That's a full identity crisis, running at the most fundamental level possible. Number 1. Depersonalization-Derealization Disorder. The final entry, and arguably the most quietly horrifying, a condition where you feel like you've become a ghost haunting your own life. Everything looks familiar, but nothing feels real. Your hands don't feel like your hands, your voice sounds like it's coming from someone else's mouth, and the whole world takes on this flat, dreamlike, cardboard cutout quality. You're not hallucinating. You're not losing your grip on facts. You just feel completely disconnected from your own existence, like you're watching yourself live your life through a foggy window instead of actually living it. This usually kicks in as a defense mechanism, your brain's emergency shutdown button for overwhelming stress or trauma, essentially numbing your sense of self so hard that you start to feel optional. The terrifying part is that people with this condition are often fully aware something is wrong, which makes it worse. They're not confused about reality, they're just locked out of feeling like a participant in it. It's your own mind building a glass wall between you and your life, then forgetting to ever take it back down. And that somehow is scarier than werewolves, imposters, or phantom bugs combined, because the monster isn't out there. It's just an empty room where you used to be. That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe.